Askren finally spoke, and what he said, it left everyone stunned. This wasn't your average health update, it was a life or death story. Literally. The kind of thing that sounds like a movie, but this wasn't fiction. The former Olympian, the funky, funny guy who made headlines with his weird trash talk and world-class wrestling, he almost died. And not once, 4 times. He opened up with a shaky voice and teary eyes, telling the world what really happened. On May 28th, his world went dark. He remembers nothing, not until July 2nd. That's more than a month completely gone from his memory. Blank. Nothing. He only knows what happened because he read it in his wife's journal. Her words were the only record of his fight to stay alive. And that journal, it painted a terrifying picture. Ben's body shut down. His lungs failed. He suffered 4 separate cardiac arrests. His heart stopped for nearly 20 seconds. 4 different times. Not ideal, he said with a half smile, trying to lighten it. But his eyes told the real story. This wasn't just a medical emergency, it was a war, and his opponent was death itself. Doctors performed a double lung transplant, one of the most dangerous surgeries a person can go through. Most don't survive. When he woke up, he was 50 pounds lighter, just 147 pounds, a weight he hadn't seen since high school. The strong, stocky wrestler looked frail and almost unrecognizable. But through it all, he was grateful. Grateful to be breathing, grateful for his family, grateful that so many people reached out. It felt like I got to hear my own funeral, he said. That hit hard. While Ben was lying unconscious, the MMA world stopped in its tracks. He wasn't trending because of a highlight reel or a Twitter fight. He was trending because everyone feared he might not make it. Fighters, friends, and rivals rallied for him. Daniel Cormier tweeted, "Emotional. We love you, buddy. You're a fighter. That's why you're fighting back." That line, it gave fans chills. Michael Chandler wrote something even deeper, thoughtful. "You've always been the toughest man I've ever been around. I wouldn't be where I am without you." That wasn't just support, it was respect. Ben Askren laid the foundation for so many wrestlers to believe they could succeed in MMA.
Henry Cejudo said it best.
Glad you made it, bro. Really puts life into perspective. This wasn't just about a health scare, it was about legacy. People used to laugh at Ben for the brutal knockout by Jorge Masvidal. They reduced him to a meme, but that wasn't the real story. He was an Olympian, a Bellator champion, a pioneer of grappling when nobody gave it respect. That's who fighters remember. And now, Ben's outlook on life? It's changed. He wants to give back. He wants to show love, the way love was shown to him. He said his community, his fans, even his old opponents helped lift his family during the darkest time of their lives. And he will never forget it. He called it overwhelming. He called it beautiful. And for once, the loudest man in MMA was just thankful. While Ben was waking up from his nightmare, Charles Oliveira was slipping into one. After a devastating knockout by Ilia Topuria, Charles opened up about something he had never admitted before. He didn't remember the fight, not a second of it. The moment he was hit, his brain shut off. When he opened his eyes, he had to ask his team where he was, what happened, and if he had lost. This wasn't just a loss, it was trauma. Charles had gone through wars against Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, and survived them all. But this time, something was different. He said, "I would change everything. I didn't do any of what we trained for." His voice cracked. The regret was all over his face. Fighters usually hide that stuff. Pride keeps them from speaking openly. But Charles didn't. He stood there, in the wreckage of that moment, and owned it, and fans felt it. Because this wasn't just a man who lost a fight. It was a man who lost a piece of himself. The scariest question hung in the air. Can you ever be the same after that? In MMA, a knockout doesn't just end a fight. It messes with your mind, your confidence, even your soul. Some fighters bounce back, some don't. Charles has started his comeback, but nobody knows what's coming. Will he find the fire again? Or did Topuria's punch leave a crack that never truly heals? And then there was Alexander Volkanovski, a warrior who had already been knocked out twice in a row, once by Islam Makhachev, then by Ilia Topuria. Everyone expected him to fall apart, but he didn't. He came back, and he won. Fans were inspired, his family terrified. In an emotional interview with Demetrius Johnson, Volkanovski finally shared what was really going on behind the scenes. After the knockout by Makhachev, he admitted he should have taken a break, a long one. His voice softened when he talked about his wife and kids. "They all wanted me to stop right after the fight," he said. His wife never said anything before the fight. She didn't want to scare him, but after, she begged him to retire. For her and their children, this wasn't about belts or legacy, it was about survival. They had watched him fall unconscious on live television. They sat in silence as the arena did, waiting, hoping he'd get back up. Volkanovski did return. He fought again. He won, but it came at a cost. Because even now, when he stands tall with his belt, there's a whisper in the background. Please let this be the last one. He's already proven everything he needed to. Every new fight is not just another challenge. It's another spin of the wheel. One wrong hit and everything could be lost. And the people who love him the most, they feel that risk more than anyone else. When Ilia Topuria knocked out Charles Oliveira, it wasn't just a win. It was a warning shot. This wasn't your average rising contender. Topuria's rise didn't happen step by step. It exploded. Everyone who stood across from him either got dominated or erased. And the fear, it's real now. Fighters used to laugh at his name. Now they whisper it. Because Ilia isn't just a knockout artist. He's a dismantler. He doesn't just beat you, he breaks you. And he says this is only the beginning. We haven't even seen the full version of him yet. Right now, he's steamrolling through competition. The UFC is struggling to find someone who can even give him a challenge. Some fans throw out names like Arman Sarukian, but even that feels like a stretch. Topuria's been making world-class fighters look like amateurs. People online joked that Charles Jourdain might have cracked the code. Excited, start low, time the jab, keep moving, they say. But deep down, they know. No one's figured it out. Not yet. And then another name started popping up, Usman Nurmagomedov. Some fans think Usman might be the one to stop Ilia. Others, they think it's a setup for disaster. He barely beat Paul Hughes. One fan posted, Topuria would destroy him, another added. If Usman fights Ilia now, just call the ambulance early. Still, Khabib Nurmagomedov had a vision. He believed Islam Makhachev would reign, and when the time came, Usman would take over, a clean transition, a legacy protected. But Ilia Topuria wasn't in that plan, and now he's blown it to pieces. Because if he keeps going like this, if he moves up in weight and snatches more belts, Khabib's carefully built legacy, it could be undone by one man's chaos. And this chaos, it doesn't care about plans. Then there's Jon Jones, not back in the headlines for a fight or even an arrest, just a tweet. He said he re-entered the USADA testing pool. That's it. No fight date, no opponent, no plan. Fans went wild anyway. But Daniel Cormier, he wasn't impressed. This dude just loves attention, Cormier said, disgusted. He's dangling his status over our heads.
And honestly, he's not wrong.
Cormier, once obsessed with beating Jones, now sounds tired of even hearing his name. I don't care if he ever fights again, he said. That's the shift. Jon Jones used to be the sun MMA revolved around. Now, he's like a ghost, a shadow of the king he once was. Every time he pops up, fans ask, is it real this time? Behind the scenes, there's bitterness too. Jones refused to fight Tom Aspinall, said it didn't mean enough to him. That rubbed fans the wrong way. Everyone wanted that fight. The UFC wanted it. Aspinall begged for it. Jones said no. He might be in the gym, he might look strong, but this no longer feels like the return of the greatest fighter ever. It feels like a legend trying not to fade away. And the longer he waits, the more the sport forgets. Francis Ngannou, once the scariest heavyweight on earth, he's also changed. Not by choice. Recently, tragedy struck. A car accident. A young girl's life lost. The silence after was chilling. For weeks, Francis disappeared. No posts, no training videos, just absence. Fans wondered, would he ever show his face again? Was the pain too much? Eventually, a training video surfaced, but instead of triumph, it felt like punishment. Chains around his neck, heavy weights, brutal workouts. The caption, getting ready for what's to come. But this wasn't about a comeback. This was about grief. This was a man trying to push his pain into the ground with every rep. His strength, once his symbol, is now his burden. Francis was always seen as unstoppable, power beyond measure, a fairy tale of strength rising from suffering. Now, he looks like a man chasing peace he might never find. Because no matter how many rounds he trains, no matter how hard he hits the bag, that little girl's name will always be there in the silence. And for someone who built his life on heart, that silence might be the heaviest thing of all. So now we ask, what comes next? Who takes the torch? The old kings, John Jones, Francis Ngannou, Oliveira, even Volkanovski, are fading. The new faces, Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, Usman Nurmagomedov, Mage Otov Ge Ga Ilia. They're the ones on the posters now, but even they aren't safe. Khabib dreamed of a smooth legacy. Islam now, Usman next.
Ja Topuria, tutto vie Topuria portara de susidanji tondo pernegisi. Batini sisen interno nessa somtali somen perneci. Bati questa non perneci paresso allo stesso mente come dia vertisserano in corte più questa contazione.
But the UFC, it thrives on chaos. And Ilia Topuria is that chaos. If he beats Islam, if he takes more belts, he won't just be a champion, he'll rewrite history. Could he be greater than John Jones, GSP, Khabib? But here's the truth no one likes to say out loud. What if it all crumbles? What if Islam fades? What if Usman steps up too soon and gets crushed? What if Topuria's body breaks before the legacy's even written? We've seen it before, young legends are raised too early. Because this sport doesn't just build icons, it breaks them. Ask Askren, who died 4 times. Ask Volkanovski, hiding trauma behind a champion's smile. Ask John Jones, clinging to relevance. Ask Ngannou, training through tragedy. MMA takes everything. Your health, your peace, your future. And it rarely gives anything back. When the lights go out, all that remains are the bruises no one sees. Topuria might be next, or someone we don't even know yet. But the hardest fight? It's not for belts. It's for survival. So, when you debate who's the GOAT, don't forget the stories that don't make the highlight reels. Because they're the ones that matter most. Ones that matter most. Ones